Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and I will be reading your tea leaves today. I just wanted to say thank you for visiting the page. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for being here, and I hope that I have some good messages for you. Okay, I'm going to start over here, and we're going to start with the cup facing to the right, and we'll go counterclockwise 3 times. Stop at the heart. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. And now I've stopped turning the cup itself just because it's so loud on video. It sounds like it's grinding. So if you've seen other videos that I've done, the earlier ones, I've kind of talked about that. The other thing that I'd like to mention is if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, or comment. I'd love to hear what you think about them, what you've been thinking about, what's been going on with you. Now this one's interesting already. I don't always get these kind of, let me see here, these kind of negative space images like this where it's the actual cup, there's the frame around it, and then we have the eyes and the nose. Now to me that looks like an owl, like already right off the bat. And an owl usually, you know, the symbolism of an owl, which I'm sure if you're here you have some understanding of symbolism, so sorry if I go over things that you are like, oh yeah, no doubt, Lenore, that's obvious. But the owl is often synonymous with wisdom, being an excellent hunter, being you know, a nocturnal animal, one that has the ability to sit and just watch and to really like just have a good understanding of its surroundings and all the things that are going on. So that's the first thing I saw. Just gonna kind of see where else that takes us. This cup kind of, I'm gonna lower it, has a cool, it's kind of all connected, a lot of it. So there's a lot of very strong connections here in all of these events and all of these little details. It seems like something that is very, it's like very tightly knit together, but it's also kind of spanning some time here. So this is going to be kind of a long event, I believe. Not something abrupt. And I'm just going to kind of take a look. Okay. Well, I'm seeing something that looks pretty blatant. These look like maybe some feminine, feminine figures. I don't really know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. Yeah, so this is going to be something that I think also either has to do with something along the lines of motherhood, very intense kind of feminine energy, or maybe some kind of desire. Now with the seeing the owl first, and we talked about that kind of having this watching. This might be something about a gaze upon the feminine form, right? Let's see, what else do we have? This one's really interesting. Now I'm seeing kind of a rooster perched here upon this kind of long it looks like it could be a human figure. There's a rooster on top. So that's a male chicken. That is somebody that is kind of a leader of a little group of like a family, a little group of close friends. They're perched on the top, so they're also kind of watching out for everybody. Let me see what else we have here. Kind of a little rabbit. I'm trying to really get a vibe here. We have a little rabbit here. Let's see if I can get this. Where you're seeing it? Yes, here. Ears, body, front leg. Below it looks like some kind of dog or coyote, something like that. They're all facing the left, so to me that is a past. It seems like the real vibe I'm getting so far is that there's been some kind of attention on you. I don't know that it is welcome, okay? I think that maybe you feel like somebody or some group of people have been putting their focus on you, and I think maybe it's making you feel just a little bit unsafe, maybe, or uncomfortable. And I think that maybe it's more like it's a person, but I think that you have a tight group of people around you that you have or you will discuss this with them. I think that now I don't know if it's serious or not. I can't, this is when I look at these things, these are just messages. I can't ever give you real advice. Like, I can't ever say this isn't that serious, don't worry about it. If I do say that, it's up to your discretion, really. But when it comes to things like where I'm seeing there's some kind of discomfort, that all of these things seem very connected. There's some kind of discomfort or question of how safe you feel. If somebody's making you feel uncomfortable, if you feel harassed, anything like that. I can't give advice about that, but I can tell you that I recognize that something has happened where it kind of feels that way. Okay, but you have people around you who I feel like you need to communicate that with. I think that maybe you have to some degree. I think that they've maybe even noticed. The way that all of these symbols are kind of connected makes me believe that this maybe is even somebody that's within a friend group or a work group or somebody. I think that everybody kind of knows each other to some degree, maybe not very well. I don't think this is an outsider. Okay. And now I'm seeing a rabbit, but also kind of this like dragon-y energy. So I think that's somebody who, I think probably somebody that you're going to talk to out of the group of people. There are, there's like more dominant personalities in your friend group, but then there is one at least that has more of a passive, smaller, kind of quieter demeanor, and I think that that's going to be the person that's really going to take up for you in this situation. Okay, I don't feel like this is, I don't feel like you're reciprocating this kind of desire to date, or maybe this person has said things that are a little uncouth to you. Not the rabbit person, the owl person. Maybe they've said some things to you, and the reason I think this is because I think that the prominent display of the body parts, which usually I would say is like a fertility thing. It's like a, you know, nursing your child, or being like a very motherly kind of influence over people. But I don't get that from this. And so I think that maybe there have been some things that have been said or done that just kind of make you, don't sit right with you. Now this figure here, to me, it looks like a person, and it looks like this stuff is kind of like falling out of their mouth, or they're talking about it, right? And it's connecting to all these like animal figures that I was seeing when the cup was turned. So I really do believe that this is something that needs to be communicated, talked about. I think that once you get it out, and once you kind of let it be known how you feel, and you have the support of people that you love and care about, and they love and care about you, I think that it will get sorted. And I think that you'll be able to find some kind of resolution within yourself about it. Okay. You know, when we have to deal with stuff like this, it's always, you know, it feels icky, you know, especially when it's somebody that you know, and boundaries have been crossed. Okay. If those have been things that have been talked about clearly, or in passing, kind of. No, I think this one is it feels like a bird carrying like a message. So I think that your message is going to be delivered. Okay, and I think this person's going to hear you loud and clear, and hopefully they'll, you know, heed your dislike of what's going on and leave you alone. And and I think I got lost in my it's always difficult, okay, to deal with this. It feels sketchy and icky sometimes. And so I think it's okay to really have people that have your back around, and, you know, really really kind of and even if you feel like you can't talk to this person just yourself, maybe somebody else talks to them, or maybe it's a group effort, okay? And that's okay. That's totally okay. We should all be able to feel safe around the people we know, around anybody else in the world, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, some people just don't know how to act. They don't know how to communicate with other people, and sometimes they don't even know that they're making people feel unsafe, but they need to, that needs to be discussed, because people need to have self-awareness about how they treat other people, right? So, now, I have a feeling that with what I'm looking, and I'm like even just kind of, I feel like maybe this is a very sensitive thing for you. I think it is for a lot of people, right? So don't feel alone in that. And I feel like maybe you're afraid because you feel a little wish-washy about how you want to go about dealing with this. I think that it's maybe in your mind and a little bit in your nature to downplay how people treat you. And maybe kind of, I don't know, just kind of like just not justify, but how am I trying to say this? You just try to rationalize, you try to dismiss some of your own feelings, and downplay how somebody has treated you. But I think that the way that this has made you feel is not okay. All right. So I think that you just have to, find a way. And if that's through other people, like I said, that's fine. You should do that. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it yourself. Okay. But, people shouldn't be making you feel this way. And I just, in general, looking at this cup, yeah, it's really pretty formations, but there's just a general sense of discomfort I'm seeing, at large. I think it's just, it feels, if you look and see how this is kind of just jaggedy, right? I feel like there's a lot of anxiety. I feel like there's just a pouring out of trust. There was trust, and there was maybe some friendship. I don't know how deep that was, but I think that it just can't, maybe this just you didn't expect this, and the way that it happened, it made you very uncomfortable, and you have a lot of anxiety about it. And, sometimes it's hard to speak up for ourselves. Sometimes we don't want to rock the boat. Sometimes we're not sure, like, are we overreacting? Or whatever. But, I'm just gonna, if nobody else has given you permission, or you have not given yourself permission, I want you to have my permission to, feel your feelings and listen to yourself. Okay, we feel the way we feel because something's going on, and it's important to honor those messages that we give to ourselves, take in the messages that we're receiving from other people, and if that's something that is harmful or makes us not feel good, that needs to be dealt with, right? So, oops. Sorry, my cat is in here going crazy. So yeah, I think that's the story that I'm seeing, and I'm sorry for that message. It's not one of my favorite ones, but I think, some of you, or even just one of you watching this, might need to hear this today. And if that's helpful to you, then I'm glad that it came through, and I hope that it really will help. Okay. And I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or a medical person or anything really. I'm just a regular person. And, I'm not qualified to give any kind of advice beyond like what I'm seeing. And these are just kind of it's a little friendly input from the messages I'm receiving from the universe, right? So, I really feel for all of the people that I meet or don't meet, and whatever. But when I get these like kind of impressions, I just feel like I need to talk about them and be real about it, and just be as helpful as I can be. So this was a tough reading, but if this has helped you, you don't have to be specific, but like, comment, subscribe. Find me on Facebook. I have an Instagram, and just reach out, whatever. Hopefully you will look at some other videos, and hopefully those will be a little more lighthearted. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored for your time and for your watching, and Yeah. This is Ula Tea Leaf Readings, and my name's Lenore, and I'm so thankful for you. Have a wonderful day.